Obviously, these are locked. There is a door propped over there, the three set right there, that will be propped open for you to come back in discreetly and without a word. With that being said, I'm going to turn it over to your MC.
I'm looking at this. Oh, okay. I told you. You gotta turn these suckers on. Hello? Hi. Hello, mic check. Hey, how's everybody doing today? Listen, I love this guy. He does what I used to do. Tells people what they need to do, X, Y, and Z. He feels fantastic. Been doing this 5 years. So my name is Glenn Malone. I'm here actually moderating the Sonic Unleashed panel. You guys ready for that? I need a little more excitement. You guys ready for that? So I'm gonna let them actually introduce themselves, but they have a special treat coming through with them. So without further ado, let's give them a big round of applause. Sonic Unleashed panelists, come on through. No, rough house, come on, give them a little.
One, two, one, two.
I like that guy already. So listen, I don't have a seat, but it's okay, right? You guys hear pretty good, all right? So without further ado, I'm gonna let them actually introduce themselves. Starting down to the end, coming on down, and introduce you.
Lisa, you're the end.
Should we say what else we're in besides?
Anything that has unleashed in the title, I think, is appropriate for this.
Hard, but no. Might not be on.
You get a mic stand?
I get a.
Yeah.
Hello. Welcome to the Sonic panel. So my name is JC Griffith. I've been playing Sonic games for a long time. Both my characters are madly in love with Amy Rose. Just so that you know. Sorry. And yes, Lisa Ortiz. So Amy Rose. In here on me, she's heard me other stuff in Poke and all of that, but with these hedgehogs, that's what I'm down doing with, and I'm very happy to be here. Pete, Jason and I are on the same sort of like thing from Sonic X, so I'm sure a lot of you have seen us when you were little. And what I mean by little is small and shrunken down, because clearly we are ageless, just know that. I'm Ryan Bartley. I'm Sage in Sonic Frontiers. Also, I'm Ray Ayanami in Neon Genesis Evangelion. I'm Shoko in Jujutsu Kaisen, and Alistair on Pokemon. And I'm in a bunch of stuff with Jason, but I couldn't remember like what. But we do additional voices in movies and TV. It's called looping, and we do it together a lot, like all the time. So, but like one thing I know for sure was A Complete Unknown, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But I don't remember like what, and like
Neither can
I know, because it seems like a million things, but
An episode of Righteous Gemstone.
yeah, Righteous Gemstone. There you go.
Ryan Drummond. Jason Griffith, Sonic X, and all the video games. Sonic, Shadow, Jet, Werehog. I even do a great Silver. Go on.
Yeah, go on, Jason. Can I?
It was the worst Silver I've heard.
Yeah, and can I hear your aiming? Oh, Sonic! Yeah, Amy, gotta go fast.
It looks so new. You're too slow. Goofy movie version.
It is.
Jason Marsden. Yeah. Hey guys, I'm Pete Capella. I'm Jason Griffith's personal assistant, and also I'm Silver the Hedgehog and all the things that are Silver the Hedgehog, I guess.
What I plan to do is I'm just gonna ask some questions, maybe like 10 minutes or so, and then let the actual guests ask the question on the other end of that. Give them a chance to ask the question.
Do you want to share this? I lick the microphone, just so.
I don't put it close to my mouth. I'm pretty extra projective. First thing first, thank you guys for your actually really appreciate it. I know you have put a lot of hard work into it. So tell me, what has been one like your best moments? Playing the characters, seeing other people portray the stories you tell. What made working together, whatever that looks like for you. What's been a really good moment for you? It doesn't matter. Anybody
Yeah,
gets
I'll say, I mean, I know, like, coming back from Unleashed and all of this, one of the coolest things has been you guys, like, the duration of time and the, like, hardcore and how much you guys love everything, and getting to be back on the road and touring and seeing these guys, because it's like reunion every time we see each other. And, and having Ryan come into the fold over here too.
Here now.
This is, yeah, Ryan's here now, so it's all, but it's, and I will say one of the coolest things about this franchise that, I mean, it's fun, and also, someday Sonic will recognize me, but, it's how much effort. Oh my God, I'll see you, there he is.
Oh.
You didn't even look like him. Very cool. But I think one of the cool things also is that, we've met so many of the other casts, and it's been a really cool experience doing that, and just sort of like being able to see everybody who's come before, after, and just sort of being family that way. So that's my thing.
awesome.
Yeah, that is really special is too. I remember like, cause I knew I was in Sonic for like years before I could say anything, and I was really excited to tell you. Cause we were friends and I saw you a lot, but I couldn't tell you. And I was like, I don't know, it was just good. I was thinking about like, I can't wait to tell Jason someday for like 2 years. And I don't know, for me, like working on Sonic, I think, I like to see how Sage describes herself is like really like a cool thing, because it helps me like get into the mind of like how the writers see her. And yeah, so like working on Sonic, that's one of my favorite moments is like the writing and getting to see like the evolution of Sage, and in terms of like how she describes herself, like you'll see. And what else? Oh, when we had a panel, I think actually maybe all of you were there. It was like a year after Frontiers had been released, and they sang Sage Happy Birthday. Weren't you guys there?
No,
Yes. Like a room full of people, like twice this big.
Oh.
Yeah, that was the big panel that we had, and Holland was there, and a bunch of us were all.
Oh.
I feel like you were there.
Still drawing a blank.
But it was very special.
Should we do it now?
Jason has tattoos all over his body to remind him of how to dance. Yeah.
I'm like, oh, it's in old English letters all over my chest.
Yeah. It was very special and meaningful, trust me. But yeah, it was really cool just because the Sonic fan base has been like really, really sweet and welcoming, and it meant a lot to get to. It was just like coincidentally, like that event was on like the year anniversary of Frontiers coming out. And so yeah, so people like the whole room sang happy birthday to Sage, and that was very sweet. And yeah, those are like some random favorite Sonic memories.
I think the best part is being considered retro. And nostalgic now. I'm like, am I that old? And then I look and see my beard. No, like what Lisa said, this is sort of the second incarnation of Sonic in my life, in my career. And it was really something that coming to these conventions and meeting people and hearing about your childhoods and meeting people who were like ages 0 to 5 when these games and the show came out. It's really wild. And I think something that none of us expected to happen. But it is nice to hear people say, I love Sonic 06 as opposed to I hate Sonic 06 and you in 06. So that's been really cool.
I like the dinners that we go.
I honestly, Lisa said it perfectly when she talked about you guys. Doing the game was amazing, obviously. But like to be here almost 20 years later, and to have lines of people that want to come up and say how we affected their lives, that's a dream for any actor. And to hear how Sonic means something different to you than it does to the next person, or something personal to you, that is just, so every time you guys come and tell us your personal stories, I promise you, we want to hear them. It's so beautiful. So that's my favorite stuff.
And I'm just gonna jump a little on the ad. I also, one of the cool things with that, and I'm sure you guys have gotten this with that, there's so many people who come up and they'll say, we read the comics and we hear your voice in our head. And I'm like, that's so cool, and also that's wild. I'm a voice in your head. People don't know this.
This is also like open doors. It's open doors to so many things, because I want to acknowledge Penny is sitting here in the front row. And yesterday, Penny works
for the International Space Station. And yesterday, myself and Jason and Lisa and Sarah, Ash Ketchum, got to go to the mission control for the International Space Station. So everyone give Penny a hand.
And I will officially say this, I said this yesterday on the floor of the International Space Station. A lot of you guys come up and tell us that it's the coolest job that we have over here. That is the coolest job.
Yeah.
Seeing people float in space, very, very cool. I just say that. Enjoy your math and science. Okay, good. That's what.
So that's interesting how you actually said that. Like, I was going to ask how you guys experience being in Huntsville so far. I guess the space station will kind of put you on the cloud nine with that, right?
Well, above it.
So tell me, like, what has been your favorite? What has been your favorite line out of all the ones you've actually had? I know you get this a lot, but you know, some people don't get a chance to ask that question, get a chance to experience it. What has been your favorite line voicing your character?
You're gonna be so disappointed. Do it. That's not my favorite line. My favorite line is the first line that I ever said as Silver. It was the first time I actually got to see what Silver looked like. And then the only time I did the voice flap voice flap match or mouth flap match. What? And so my favorite line is, "I finally found it, the English trigger." But your favorite line is, "It's no use."
I have to hear about 50 times.
Yeah. If you're bad at the game.
Shots fired. Boom.
I don't know if anyone wants to claim to be good at the game.
I just love Latinos. I think you said that in 06, right?
Yeah.
That was in 06 one day.
Fuck off.
Well, one that I really like is a family born of love and not genetics. Everything I want.
As a Puerto Rican, my favorite line is, "I love Latinos." But and then the second is Sonic for everything. But I love all the lines and stuff in each episode. And there's like, if I had to choose between the world, I had to choose between the worlds and Sonic, I'd choose Sonic.
That's awesome.
Well, thanks, Amy.
Someone understands. Yes, please.
Why am I not there too?
It's crazy.
So my one last question before we actually go, before we get to the audience, is what got you guys into voice acting? Like, what was that jump for you guys? What was your story?
When I first started acting, I moved to New York when I was 17, 18 years old. And the thing is, if you're an actor and you're that age, if you're 18, they want to submit you on things where you play high schoolers because they want you to look 14 and be 18 so you can be on set all day. I had the opposite problem where I was 18 and I looked 40. So I wasn't getting like the high school newspaper editor roles, So my agent just started submitting me on voiceovers based on, I had an answering machine with an actual cassette tape in it. So this is 1935. Yeah, right after phones were invented. And I did on my outgoing voice message, it was like a cheesy game show host or something. And my agent was calling me for something else. Heard that, and at the time they were looking for a BMW commercial on the radio, where they needed a. Why did you turn to me? Am I made of a radio? I've been on radio before.
He wanted to make sure he was saying it correctly because it's a lot hard to remind.
He used to say, "Here in the world's fair." Anyway, so they heard that message, and they were casting something BMW commercial on the radio where they needed a goofy like game show host. And my agent went, "Oh, he could do that." So they sent me on it and I booked it. And then they just kept sending me on voiceover stuff and I kept booking. And you go.
Okay. I got into voiceover when I was a kid. I was doing like on-camera work, and I had an agent. They just like got some radio commercial auditions, and so it took me a few tries. But Radio Disney used to have these like open auditions for real kids to do their spots for the network. Like, Radio Disney, we're all ears. Like, does anyone remember that? Yeah. So they use real kids and they would hold these open auditions every year. And they would be at really funny places. Like, so I'm from DFW originally, and they have a big office, a Radio Disney headquarters there. And they would have these like open calls at like movie theaters, or one year it was at the Texas Rangers baseball stadium. And I would go every year and they would make these kids like line up, and you would like have your little paper and you would read one of the promos. And they would go down the line. And I tried a few years before I got the job, but I did eventually get the job. And then I was like working for Radio Disney as a kid, and that's like kind of my first taste of voiceover. Yeah.
I've never heard that story. That's a great story. Yeah.
That's how it started.
You want laughs or you want?
Ladies, it's not like it's a more interesting story than yours, but ladies
No,
first.
that's good.
You want to do the same?
For me, my brother stole my car. So, that's how I got into voiceover. I'll make it the quick version, but, I was studying theater and stuff. I started when I was still in school. I was studying theater and all sorts of stuff. And I got mono, and, my car also got mono. So I had to go home and take off before the end of the semester. And one day I woke up and, my car was gone, because we used to hang our hooks on the bottom of the thing. And, I had no idea where it was. The phone rang, my brother called, and I'm like, Jeremy, where's my car? And he's like, you know your car doesn't work? And I was like, yeah, I know. Where is it? That's why you're not supposed to take it. He's like, it's at George's house. He hangs up. Next person to call was my friend Rob, and he's like, hey, is Jared there? And I'm like, do you know where George is? And he's like, yeah. He comes fix me up. It turned out that he was interning at the time for a place called Central Park Media. And they were looking while we were driving. He's like, do you know anybody who might want to audition for some anime? They're trying to find actors. It was right when they were starting and they were sort of bringing people in. And I was like, me? He helped me get a battery. We went to a weird fair. There was something like a movie called Something Wicked This Way Comes. If you don't know what it is, it's really bizarre. So you're like, that was the carousel that I went to. There was like a weird llama and some lemurs. It was really crazy. A little tiger in a cage. Yeah, I still have a picture of me with a little baby white tiger. No, it was the weirdest thing. Like lemurs who were like causing problems. This is a weird story. It was in the mall parking lot, I remember. And they brought me in for an audition. And the first audition that I went to was for a show called Record of Lotus War. And I actually booked the role. They actually booked me in 2 things, but they had no idea who I was. From there, people came into the studios that I was working in, came in. When we had Sonic happened, they had already been reading some folks for it. And then they came in and they came into a session. They were like, hey, we have something we want you to read for. And that's how I went into there. But I also was trained. I was in school for it. I was doing that for theater and straight stuff. So I was prepared when the audition came, but it was a little bit of there was a little bit of kismet of that going on. And then I started working at 4Kids. I started working with these people. And if you had told me back then that I would still be here today, 20 years later, I would have told you insane. But also as a kid, I know I'm saying a lot. As a kid, what we used to do is we had a recording tape. You guys would do it there. We made basically podcasts on our vacations. So all I would do was basically turn cartoons down and revoice it myself along with the picture. So yeah, I had no idea that voiceover was a job. I didn't know you could be the voice of a cartoon. And I went in thinking my first Disney princess. And if you told me that voice directing was a job, I wouldn't have known. But my parents are proud, so it's good.
Did anyone ask you to voice the lemur?
The lemur did, and it was questionable. Because, yeah, there's children present. The lemur was a very questionable lemur, and I think they were in some kind of, he's in heat. I don't know what was happening. He was a frisky lemur. You don't need him. Okay, sorry, children. For all of you.
There's a different panel for horny lemurs.
Yeah. It was just watch the movie Something Wicked This Way Comes and you'll understand. It was questionable.
Let's put it up on the big screen.
But yes.
Now tell the long version.
There is a long version. And my brother became a cop, the other one.
Oh. I don't know. I got this. So I, just like Lisa, studied radio, TV, and film in college, and I thought, well, radio, is that what radio? I thought that would be a viable job while I pursued the film, TV, and theater career, because you have to have a full-time job and then pursue acting full-time, so you don't sleep. And then I did. I graduated from college and I got a job offer from one of the biggest radio stations in New York, Q 1043. And then they gave me that job offer and I saw how much money it was and I was like, no, because there was no money in it. And I wouldn't have been able to commute. I lived in New Jersey at the time and I couldn't commute from New Jersey to New York and even like break even. So I sent that voice demo tape. I had it online. It was like the burgeoning of the internet, and I put that voice demo online, and 4Kids Productions found it, and they were calling me in for everything from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to Pokemon to all the other things I didn't book at the time, and they had me reading these big voices, and then one day I was walking out from an audition I wound up not getting, and I was halfway at the door, and they said, "Hey, Pete, do you want to try this 14-year-old head job?" And that's how I got it.
It's delicious.
And then there was
Questionable, yes, they're questionable.
questionable lemurs.
I have a question for Lisa. Was that Frappuccino $8?
Actually, it says $8 on here, so I would feel better for myself. It was 2,642.
A deal. Please go to Lisa's table.
But
She's
$8.
really gonna recoup that money.
Yeah, this is for the bottle. If anybody wants this bottle, it's $8. So I could recoup my Star Wars.
Sign the bottle.
Sign the
There you go.
Your father, son, your.
I'll give you draw a lemur.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna get it now.
Yeah.
I love you guys' story, by the way. It's very interesting. All right, it's about that time, guys. There is a microphone to the back. Sonic hit that first. Oh, he's showing you where the mic is.
Sonic with no voice.
That's a great time for you actually to use the voice acting right there. So if you can line up back there.
Or he like acts it out and you do the voice.
So it's been about 20 minutes. If you guys can ask one question, get them answered, make sure everybody get their question done, and if you have another one, you kind of like rotate the line. So we kind of get everybody get an opportunity to ask their question. Fair enough? You guys cool with that? Yeah? You guys cool with that?
So my question is, obviously, I don't know if anyone else is ever done. I know Ryan has the Sonic Tour takeover or Sonic Tour / TikTok takeover. What was your favorite? Do you have any favorite memories from doing the tour takeover? Like any favorite lines or anything? Or what was it like being part of the Sonic Tour takeover, like in general?
Can you breathe?
I was not. Yes. I was not in the Sonic takeover.
Oh, I thought
Yeah, Safe wasn't.
that is so.
I know.
I mean, we could take over something now. We could do a
Like,
Sonic Room
You
takeover.
might do it in the future. Who knows? We'll see. I would like a chance to take over Twitter. Yes.
All right. Thank you very much. I was at least something about I'll ask my question. So.
Should pass it out.
Out of the way, Sonic.
Okay, this is technically two questions that are very related to one another. Lisa, Jason, Pete, was it like you being like the Sonic series was like your biggest claims to fame back in like the mid to late 2000s? Was it discouraging to you at all that you put a lot of time and effort into helping the characters come to life back then, only for the respective games to constantly be getting trashed by critics and constantly mocked online without ever a break? Was that ever like demoralizing?
No. The MySpace messages that told me where to go.
MySpace messages telling you where to go?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I was big on MySpace and I loved messaging Jason about how bad it was.
It's the word abysmal. No, I've always thought of it as like sort of a badge of honor in the sense that like we get to do this cool job, and of course there's always going to be someone who hates what you do, no matter what you do. And it's just really cool to like be able to say, hey, I got some, hate mail today. Because who else gets hate mail except for people getting stalked and,
people in prison, but I always thought it's sort of an occupational hazard, you know?
I mean, I like stuff like that. I didn't know, we didn't always hear it. Like we were in the booth. Sometimes you didn't get feedback on that unless you were looking for it. But I'll say this is like, it's how many years later and you guys are all still coming up and saying, you know, stuff to us and filled with love. So whatever happened at the time, it's a weird thing because casts change, things hand off, and that's part of that's part of the business. You know, I will always say, this isn't a Sonic thing, but we were doing Pokemon, and they would get messages at the beginning of every season. One of the season, Kukui, at the beginning of the season, there was someone who came and said, I hate everything you do. He sounds horrible. Everything is awful. We followed that. And then 2 months later, the same person said, I cannot believe that anybody else in the world could ever play this role like he does. So, you know, it's one of those things. You never know what's going to happen. So it's kind of weird doing it, but at the end of the day, we're in there doing the best we can, and they're doing what the Sonic 06 project.
Project 06.
Yeah, so Project 06, which I think is kind of cool too. So
Yeah, we didn't develop the game.
yeah,
So
that's it. Yeah.
we were just the voice actors, and I love what we did. But the true answer is I've been crying for 20 years straight. So
Yeah, and actually, he cries after this.
yeah, I can't wait. There's a whole
Yeah.
other panel of me crying.
Yeah, and also a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Just so you know, and a TikTok channel.
But yeah, do you feel any vindication over like how the general consensus of that stuff has been getting better over the past 2 decades now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Give me a hand clap, everybody.
Hi.
Put the word hand in there. Yeah. Give me the clap.
Don't clap with your feet. That's called a stomp. You'll change this.
Hi, I just want to start off by saying that y'all were my childhood and I love y'all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you, besides the characters that you guys voice, if you were to choose one character from the Sonic universe, which one is your favorite?
Knuckles.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I'm a Tails fan.
As much as I love Shadow and as much as I love and I love Sonic, it is Dr. Eggman.
There you go.
Tails.
Team Tails.
Two tails.
Hi, my name is Brandon, and
Hi, Brandon.
it's actually a question for you.
Oh, I knew it.
You said you did voice for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Uh-huh.
Which version of the Ninja Turtles?
Whichever one came out in, oh, yeah, 03, yeah.
The 03, okay.
Yep, go on.
Well, who was your favorite Ninja Turtle character?
Donatello.
Hands down.
Hands down.
Yeah.
He didn't even need a sharp blade. He just
Yeah.
needed a stick in his brain.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Not stick in his brain, a stick in his brain.
Great. Yeah.
Thank you.
There's metal.
Where's that damned fourth anal assembly?
The trunk drawer.
What's your favorite Sonic game?
Me?
Yeah.
To play or that I voiced?
Just like play.
Sonic CD and the original Sonic 2 on Genesis. We can easy love it.
So you guys' voices are iconic, and I was wondering, how did you guys come up with the voices originally? Both for the people who originated them and for people like Jason and Lisa who were not the original voices.
I'll be honest, for me, this is an interesting thing because to my recollection, when we had it, did not hear the original English voice. I heard the Japanese voice. And if they played me in English, I don't recall it. They played me the Japanese voice. I looked at her and I think I just sounded very similar. And so I think that that's one of those things. But a lot of that was, I wasn't as familiar with the work that was going on. So we did, because it had just been the game stuff at that point, they did a lot of character building and stuff in the studio. That's for that series. So that was my experience. I know that they were very particular about stuff. So Jason.
Yeah. They played a clip of, I believe it was Ryan Drummond for me, and said, don't imitate this, but like keep it in this universe, you know? And then when I was auditioning, I auditioned for Sonic and Chris Thorndike, and Michelle Dunn, one of the producers, came in and said, switch those two voices. So the voice I was doing for Chris was what became Sonic's voice. And then when I did Shadow, I modeled it after my roommate at the time, who chain smoked. Silver, they didn't know anything about him when I went to audition for him. They said he was a 14-year-old hedgehog who was very young and naive, but fighting for his future, which had become a dystopian place. And at the time, my brother Anthony, who I talked like this, and he sounded like this, like he literally had like the froggy voice from Little Rascals. He was serving in Iraq and Afghanistan, and I said, and he was 19 years old and serving in the Army infantry, and I said, he's young and naive and fighting for our future, and so maybe I will model that after him. So I took my voice and I added a little bit of rasp, but then I brought it up here, and that's how Silver was born. And Anthony's no longer with us, but he is alive in Silver's voice.
And I'll just say, so when I auditioned for Sage, Sage in Japanese is voiced by the same person who plays Rei Ayanami in Neon Genesis Evangelion, and I had just done Ava like a couple months ago. Like Ava had come out maybe like at most 3 or 4 months before I auditioned for Sage, and I could tell like the character description was very Rei Ayanami-esque, and I did not know at that time. I didn't know for years until Frontiers came out that it was Megumi Hayashibara, who plays Rei Ayanami, that also voices Sage. They didn't tell me that. But I could tell from the character description, like this is a very Rei-esque character, and I was extremely locked into that mode at that moment because I had just done all of Ava. So that's where I was coming from when I auditioned for Sage.
I didn't know we had to make Megumi Hayashibara. Yeah.
What were your guys' first Sonic games you ever played?
That we ever played or we ever voiced?
You guys ever played?
Sonic the Hedgehog on Sega Genesis, the first one. Same.
Same.
I don't know. I'm bad at games.
Sonic Unleashed.
I only play Sonic Racing. Sonic Adventure 2.
Let's go.
Super Sonic Brothers?
Man, that Genesis, that was like
Yeah.
the first game system we had.
My sister had a Game Gear too, so we played a lot of that.
Hello. For Jason, what did you use to develop the voice for Jet the Hawk?
Pain and
What does he sound like?
it's such a hard voice to do. I saw the picture of him, and this was one of the parts that I didn't have to audition for. It was, we were doing writers, and whoever was, I think it was Julie Rath, was directing that game. She's like, "Oh, you're doing the green guy too, so come up with a voice." I'm like, "Okay." It's probably from that. Like, do it now. Yeah, I saw he looked maniacal, so I was like, I'll do that. And
Not very impressive for someone who hasn't tasted.
that's Jet the Hawk eating a hot dog while talking.
All right, hey, listen, guys, I want to make sure every line's getting longer and longer, so you can just ask one specific question for one particular person, and then we'll kind of move on, so just doing a round table. And if you have another one, you go back to the line. I just want to make sure everybody gets a chance to get their questions asked. So if that's okay with you guys.
It's a little speed run.
We're here for 3 hours, so.
Okay, so this one is for Jason then. Thoughts on Arrow Ace Sonic?
What are those words? Arrow, Ace, Sonic?
Aromantic, asexual. Aromantic meaning he doesn't feel romantic attraction. Asexual meaning he doesn't.
That's like the artist thing, Otto or whatever.
No, that is the ship name. Arrow Ace is.
Well, look, I think it's all valid. I think everybody, especially things that are come up with by people who are artistic or have their own vision, I think it's great because the best thing about this Sonic universe is that everybody's welcome and everybody and every, within reason, I guess, all ideas of Sonic are great, especially if they're positive and and making people's lives better. So that's my thought.
Awesome, thank you.
Good answer, Jason. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right.
Good answer. Wait a second. I want to delve deeper.
All right. Also for Jason. So if I'm not mistaken, during recording Sonic Unleashed, you were under a case of strep throat, right?
Throat infection. Yeah.
Throat infection. Yeah. So how was it like recording the lines for that game?
No, it was the worst days of my life. Because A, I felt like crap, like worse than, and B, I didn't want to lose the job. You know, like as an actor, and especially then, it wasn't like, oh, I was getting, this was backed up against 9 other sessions. It was like, this is my only job. And I had to get sick the week that everyone flew in from Japan. So my only thought was like, don't die and like, don't lose this job. It was horrible. It was really bad.
Nice. Yeah. I guess follow up to that. Did it make doing the werehog easier or way harder?
Way harder. No, I could do the werehog perfectly fine without a throat infection. That made it worse. So when you hear the werehog scream when he's dying, that's like, that's me on take like 5. Like, get me out of here. I'm gonna put everything in it.
Hey, when you had those 4 knives shoved into your stomach, was it easier or harder to do?
Much easier.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So,
Howdy.
So I guess really I wanted to ask Lisa and Pete, since Amy is coming out for the live action movie, and I guess later if Silver shows up in the live action Sonic movies, who do you imagine voicing those characters?
When I go to sleep at night, I have a dream. I imagine it's me. But I don't know. You know, they've come up with a whole bunch of stuff. Who knows? You know, I'm very curious. I've heard a lot of different things. So when we saw it at the end and there was no voice for her yet, and they just sort of showed her on, I was like, oh, they're messing with us. We'll see, and hopefully, you know, I know. We'll see, and we'll see who they get to read, what they go for, and who they ask. You know, it would be great to know.
Will Smith, maybe.
I think Will Smith, yeah. Also, I think that's good, and if not.
He did that whole get me with it.
Should do it. Julie Roberts.
Julia Roberts is so old for me. No, her voice is old for Amy, is what I said. I mean, obviously we want to voice these characters. But if I had to replace myself with anyone, I have 2 options. One, the most accurate, like who I think could voice match me would be Tom Holland. But But what I want to see is Donald Glover. I want a totally different take on Silver, and I want Childish Gambino to voice Silver the Hedgehog. No, Jimmy Fallon would laugh his way through the whole movie.
Okay, so if there was a scenario where a character from the comics got adapted into the show, who would you voice?
Oh, should I start? Yeah. I don't know any of the characters from the comics, so I'll say Paper Sonic.
Go ahead. So,
Love your costume, by the way. Your cosplay is great.
thank you very much. This entire costume was last minute.
And I loved it even more.
All right. So, just a basic question. I know you haven't been voicing the characters in any of the games for some different voice actors, but I'm curious if you've played any of the recent games and like if you enjoy them.
Yeah, I'm really, really curious, guys. I have watched some of the games played because sometimes I stink at games. I'm not gonna say that I love them. I'm very good. I am a gamer, but I will say this, is that I am a gamer who admits that I am not the best gamer. So, but yeah, exactly. You can still, no, because some people are like, you stink. I'm like, yeah, but I love. So, you know, shut up. I'm playing the game here. I have watched variations of the different casts, and a lot of the other different series that have come out, and I enjoy them, I love them, and I love watching different takes on stuff like that too.
My, this is a pretty snazzy performance here. Okay, this is for Jason Griffith. This is coming from someone who loves your role as Sonic in Sonic Unleashed and Sonic the Black Knight. What was your favorite moment playing as the Blue Corvette?
My favorite moment? I don't, that's such a hard thing to even remember because it's been so long. I do remember there was a moment where I made the producer laugh during the recording of one of the episodes of Sonic X. I should know the name of the character, but Sonic's wheeling a girl around in a wheelchair, and he almost dumps her off a cliff. And there was a noise I kind of improvised, and Michael Hackney, the producer, like fell over laughing, and that was like, I'll always remember that because I'm like, oh, maybe I'm not going to get fired. And then comes in 2010 when I got fired. They actually did say it was because of the wheelchair thing.
Yeah. They said that to all of us.
Yes, yeah. Sorry, Jason got you all fired.
Yeah. All right, last question.
You look really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. Who are you, Shoulder Man?
Yeah, Older man, yeah.
I don't know anything, so I'm sorry.
It's Final Fantasy.
Go.
Just wanted to say, this one's for Pete. Just want to let you know, when I was a kid, your boss fight in Sonic 06 made me cry when I was like 9 years old. I just want to know, how does it feel?
You should apologize.
How does it feel making, knowing you made so many kids cry, like me?
I guess I'm a sadist, so I love it. No, I'm sorry for the programming. That said, so many people come to the table and say, do you hate that you're that mean? And I love it. I think that, so everyone complains about the glitchiness of Sonic 06, right? But you guys wouldn't have attached to It's No Use if that didn't happen. So you have to remember that in the mistakes, there are beauty.
Without further ado, please give them a big hand clap. Listen,
Hands, guys.
make sure that you guys go check out their table, go buy stuff from them, and also too, you guys have photo ops soon, right? Yeah. Go get a photo ops from them. Like, go get some pictures with your favorite Sonic Unleashed character. Again, give me a big hand clap for them, please. Nick, the entrance to your left.
As a reminder, please be aware that the exit is towards an active corridor, so please open the doors slowly. Thank you.
Yeah, we might.
Thank you. It don't matter, whenever you want to. So something like.
complete nerve authority.